8:33 and early voting gets underway in 2 days. Pix 11 continues to be your local election headquarters. And as voters prepare to cast their ballots in the primaries, we want to make sure that you are informed on the candidates and the issues. This morning we are speaking with Democratic mayoral candidate Eric Adams. So good morning to you, Mr. Adams. Thank you for being here this morning and in person. Good to see you in person.
As well.
So we'll get to the issues in the campaign in just a minute, but I do want to begin. I'm sure you knew I was going to start here with the questions surrounding your residency, right? And I really want to talk about your personal life coming under a microscope. You allowed cameras into your home yesterday in Bed-Stuy that you say you have lived in for 20 years. So why didn't you use that address in Bed-Stuy when you were filing for borough president or filing for mayor? You used another Prospect Heights address that you hadn't lived in for quite some time. You see how it gets confusing?
No, without a doubt. And clear, I've lived there. We need to be clear on that. My long-term neighbors know me. And in fact, anytime they had any problems, you know why they know me? Because they come to me. They knock on my door. And 425 Prospect Place was an old co-op that I gave over to my partner back then many years ago. And 47 McKeever Place was a transitional place. We were doing renovation. We was getting the building in place. It was a total gut rehab. That building was abandoned. So it was a total gut rehab. But that's my home. I live there. I love my neighborhood. I love my block. I love being in Bed-Stuy.
So a lot of people are saying that you just don't live there. And I don't mean to sound trivial or flippant with this right here, but I want to talk about what we saw inside your home yesterday because it seemed to have picked up on social media. And I want to throw it up on the screen. And it's about your refrigerator. Again, don't mean to sound trivial here, but when you look at the image of your refrigerator right there, some are saying doesn't look like the Eric Adams who's plant-based or Eric Adams who's vegan.
Look at that. Look at that. Look, see that little almond milk on the bottom? And I'm not in the home that much. Look, here's my day, Dan, because you know it, because you interview me a lot. I'm up at 5:30, meditate, hit the streets, out until 1 a.m. 1 a.m., 7 days a week for the last 4 years. I'm in the office a lot. You go to my fridge in the office, you see the same thing. So when people want to scrutinize everything, I live at Lafayette Avenue. That's where I live. Okay. Let's talk about the issues that are affecting our voters.
I will in 1 second. I want to get to what Andrew Yang tweeted yesterday saying this. If we throw the tweet up, he says, I don't think he lives here, alluding to a property that you own in Fort Lee with your girlfriend. So how often do you actually stay in that Fort Lee residence?
Listen, I miss her. You know, haven't seen her in 2 months since Saturday. Saturday I stopped by to see her. 2 months of gap in between. I get there. When we was during COVID, I didn't get there at all. Sometimes I get there once a week to say hello. But you know, this campaign and being borough president has taken me away from spending time with all of my family. I live on Lafayette Avenue in Brooklyn. That's my primary residence.
And you said that you will release your Easy Pass records today. You wanted Andrew Yang to come and pick them up. Will you release them if he doesn't come? And what will those records actually show in terms of the back and forth?
I would have brought them today to you, Dan. You know, in fact, I'm going to
send them over.
I'm gonna email them over to you. I will bring them to you today. And you know what? This is the funny part, Dan. They've been following me for months. They know where I am. So for his campaign and other campaigns to say this, they've been trailing me for months. So they know where Eric is. They want to turn this into an issue. This is not an issue. It's not an issue at all. The real issue, homelessness, crime, lack of education. Those are the issues.
I'm going to look for those records later today because I think that's...
I'm going to text them over to you.
Let's talk about the issues right now because we had this Pix 11 poll yesterday that came out. News Nation, Emerson College shows you on the top. Maya Wiley now in second place. Crime continues to be the top issue. And I want to talk about gun violence. You're seeing it in your own borough right now, up 73% compared to last year. What do you see, though, as the driving factor in gun violence, and how do you tackle it specifically?
Right. And, Dan, let's be honest. Have I been talking about this?
Yes.
You know, other candidates were talking about, you know, long-term plans. I was the only candidate that was saying to New Yorkers, we need an intervention and prevention. Prevention, those are the long-term plans. Everything from dyslexia screening, so we don't have 30% of our population in jail. But right now, we had a shooting last night in Chelsea. You know, crime is not only in those traditional areas that we ignored, but now they have spilled over
But
to
on
other
specifics,
communities.
right? Because we hear a lot about attacking the pipeline, and you have talked about not bringing back an anti-crime unit, plainclothes, but an anti-gun unit. What
Yes.
does that look like?
It looks like there's a term called precision policing. You zero in on those known shooters, you zero in on those gang members. That's what's driving a lot of our crime in this city. And then you coordinate our efforts. You coordinate all of the boroughs together. You make sure that we put money in our gun suppression unit, give them the support they need, put together a special prosecutor on gangs and guns so that we can start pinpointing these cases together. And then we need to stop releasing those who are known shooters. You carry a gun one day, you should not be out the next day.
Understood. I also want to talk about the topic of housing, a major concern for New Yorkers. 200,000 people were facing evictions before the pandemic. We don't even know what that number is right now, right? So a lot of people facing evictions. What would you do to keep people in their homes? Is it give them a check? How long would you hold eviction moratoriums for?
Well, the city council did an amazing job. They increased the vouchers. Many of our vouchers that you were receiving, it was not equal to what the cost of rent is. It was a big mistake. We have to do something else. We have to say to those brokers and landlords, you're not going to continue to deny people to use those vouchers. We're going to put money in the Human Rights Commission, have them go out, do quality assurance, making sure that people are not being turned down in the first place. And then we need to continue the moratorium, but we also must balance that with those homeowners, small property homeowners, so that they don't lose their homes. Because if we don't allow those small property owners to keep their homes, we're going to see the greatest loss of wealth with black and brown people in the city. We can't allow that to happen.
So it's not giving them a check to help them pay the rent.
No, you give it to the landlords directly. So this way you make sure people are able to stay in their homes, but we stabilize that people don't lose their homes.
Understood.
Because the wealth of black and brown people in the city and immigrants is tied to their homes, and we can't allow that to happen.
Let's talk about education. This is top of mind for so many parents, right? Vaccines and masks in school, a very touchy subject. You said you were open to the conversation on vaccine mandates, right? What does that look like, though, in a school where some kids are vaccinated then and some kids are not vaccinated? Are they in different classrooms? Are they all in one?
That's what we have to figure out. And listen, once the vaccine is completely through FDA approval, that's another conversation. But right now, remember, this was an emergency approval.
Right.
And so I respect the concerns of parents. I'm extremely sensitive when we talk about parents and children. Once we get FDA approved, now we can talk about mandatory. Right now, we have to figure this thing out.
And lastly, sir, ranked choice voting, big topic here. Who would you pick as your number two? Would you pick a number two?
Yes, I would. And I'm looking at all the candidates, and I'm going to roll out who I believe is number two.
Names, you don't know yet?
No, I do not. The closest to the belief that we need to end inequality, we need to ensure that our city is safe, and we must make sure that everyone has an opportunity. We have to grow the city. We have to bring business back to the city. We have to keep high income earners. Whomever is closest to my belief on what we need in this city, I am going to embrace.
Mr. Adams, giving everybody equal time. I appreciate you coming in for this in
Thank
person,
you.
and I appreciate you talking about the issues as well.
Yes.
I'll look forward to that email later on today. All right?
You got it.
Mr. Adams, thank you. Again, head on over to pix11.com/New York Elections, where you will find our Vital Voters Guide with more information on all the candidates. We also have the explainer of the new ranked choice voting system, key reminders about key dates as well. Betty